All right, so today we are talking about how to build generational wealth from scratch with the quick turn real estate strategy. Me and Aisha have done, and we're going to talk to you about how we set other people up to do the same thing. So let's look at that. So, what do you want? Are you scared that your retirement won't be enough? If that's something that fears you, then you want to pay attention to what we're going to be talking about. Maybe you feel that you haven't done enough to help your kids. You feel like you don't have anything set up for them long term and you want to set something up so that they have something left when it's their time to be in the spotlight. Or do you want to be able to travel and earn money with less stress? You don't want to have to be bogged down at a desk working your job until you can't work anymore. You'd like to actually get out and enjoy life. Are you looking for something that makes good money but doesn't take all of your time? A lot of people feel that, it's great to make money, but they don't want something that sucks up so much time that they can't enjoy life. If that is your case, this next 30 minutes can be the answer you have been searching for, and it's realistic and it's very plausible, very real. So pay attention and we will get to it. We will show you what this looks like. So, touch on who is this training for? Who actually benefits from this training? One, if you are nearing retirement and want to build your retirement savings, then this training will help you because it'll show you a path. Good to see you, Audrey from South Carolina. Nice to meet you. If you are already retired and you want light work that can make great money, you don't want to do something that's going to bog you down and you can't enjoy life, but you want something that keeps you busy and gives you something to do, this is a great option for you. If you have not prepared for retirement at all, shame on you, but it happens, and are behind, then pay attention. This will let you get caught up and you could live the life as if you had done all your retirement planning and were very responsible by taking on these steps and doing it the way we're going to lay out for you. Okay, so this is going to be helpful. Next, we're going to talk about, or maybe you just want more money to enjoy life. You don't have to have all these big plans. You just want more money to enjoy life, and you want to see how you can do that without breaking the bank, without going crazy. Then this will be useful for you. This training will give you a tested strategy that you can follow. And when I say tested, it's not just tested that me and Aisha have done it. We have students that are doing this, and we know other investors that are doing something similar to this. This works. This is a real plan. So follow along. How to build generational wealth for you and your family. So that's what we want to really get down to. Tonight, we will be discussing a real plan to build generational wealth. And what exactly does that mean? People throw that word around generational, or those words around generational wealth all the time. But a lot of times people are not clear on what generational wealth actually means and what it is. What really is generational wealth? Why pursue it? We're going to talk about that. Why should you go after it? We're going to talk about how to be an active investor, being an active investor while building a long-term passive income. So you want to be active right now, doing something that's building money for today, because it's great to build money for the future, but some of us are still trying to make sure we got money today. So this is going to show you how to be active now, making money, and then at the same time building long-term wealth. Okay? What resources and tools you need to hit this goal with absolute certainty. So to know that you're going to hit this with no problems, with absolute certainty, this is the plan. We're going to talk about that and why the full quick turn strategy makes creating generational wealth completely possible and even easy. Okay, as I said in the beginning of this, I have used this exact strategy, put three of my kids through college. We don't have any student loans. We pay for college, pay for vehicles for all my kids. I have my own vehicles. We have, a home that we paid for. All of this was done, and we have good savings. We have good savings. Me and my wife are able to travel. My kids travel with us. We go on multiple trips every year. All of this is possible because of following this strategy, and anybody can do it. It is not so unique that nobody can do it. So, who are we and why are we able to do this? So, let's touch on that. My name is Art, and along with my wife, Aisha, we have been investing in real estate for 27 years. We have done hundreds of real estate deals across all kinds of different platforms, all kinds of different stuff. We've done a lot. Now, that doesn't matter to you. How can we help you? Let's talk about that. Well, it's very straightforward. We have built life changing wealth through real estate over the years, and we're here to share our proven process that we actually do right now. This is not something I read in a book, this is not something that I've thought about. This is what we are actively doing right now. And we talk about not just what we're doing, but challenges that actually come up, stuff that happens. And we talk about that with you to help you kickstart or scale your real estate journey. So if you're somebody that's interested, but you're not sure, this is a good option. We created a powerful strategy for quickly buying and selling properties that outperforms other approaches. With our method, you earn more, you work less, you're not going to be cold calling or putting out bandit signs or any of that stuff, and you're going to make more money and enjoy consistent results and build a lasting business legacy. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. This is our most valuable training, so watch this full video and please pay attention. If you've got questions, you can ask them in the chat and I will break whatever I'm talking about and try to answer your questions as long as they're relevant to what we're talking about so you guys can get the most out of this training. Does everybody get me? Everybody can hear me and see me okay? Does this make sense so far? Are we ready to go? Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Just let me know. All right, good. Thank you, Audrey. Let me know that we're good to go and I'll get started in this because I'm going to move a little bit fast and I want you guys to be able to, follow along. All right. Is this possible for you? Our current students have already bought, sold, or are actively negotiating deals totaling over $3.2 million in real estate. They are generating approximately about 1.6 million in profit over the last 6 months. We check this every so often, and our students are doing great. Many of our students are buying multiple properties. So they are not just buying one house and doing a deal, they are buying more than one house and building a business. For example, Lisa. Lisa has never bought an investment property before. Now she is working on her second deal after locking in a $75,000 profit on her first deal. So she made $75,000 on her first deal out the gate, never did a real estate deal before. Kyra just purchased her first investment property and she's already under contract to cash out with a $45,000 profit on her. So she should do $45,000 on this first deal and she's about to start looking for her next deal. I got to push Kyra so she goes ahead and gets to that next deal because she's just happy about this deal. And then there's Yolanda. Yolanda is a realtor who had never invested for herself. She had helped a bunch of people buy real estate and make money, never bought anything for herself. She said she was scared to do it and she knew she needed to take action. She just never took action. And she finally stepped out with our help and she followed our process, worked with us, and she secured 3 properties and she walked away in about 4 months with a profit of $134,000. And when I say profit, that is actual money she put in her bank account. That is not, something on paper. That's money she could spend and do whatever she needed to. And she has been hitting the races hard ever since she's been going. So let's get started on your generational wealth plan right now and what that looks like. Let's talk about this because this needs to be said. What is generational wealth and why should we pursue it? Okay? Because a lot of people are confused as to what generational wealth is and what it is not. First, let's establish what generational wealth is and what it isn't. Generational wealth is any asset or set of assets that you can use that allow you to receive income. Not just income, but income that goes whether you're there or not. I don't want to say passive, but very little involvement. How about that? Because when people think of passive, they think they never have to talk about it or never have to do anything again with the property, and that's just not the case. It does not have to be property, but for this purpose of this call, we're going to be talking about real estate. The generational wealth we look at allows you to earn more money than you need and grow over time. So not only will it make money on an ongoing basis, it's going to grow in value over time. So it's going to make you money today and grow in value over time. For the purpose of what we are doing, we will build generational wealth by creating 2 income streams. So pay attention to what we're doing. We're going to make 2 income streams. I know everybody says you got to have multiple income streams and all this kind of stuff. We want to have 2 very much right in front of you income streams that are very clear and they work almost in tandem. We will build a short-term business and then we will build a long-term investment strategy and we'll use one to feed the other. The short-term business will feed the long-term business and then the long-term business will feed us eventually and we can decide if we want to keep the short-term business, but it works really well. I am not an accountant and this is not financial advice. This is not the only way to do this to build generational wealth, but it makes sense. And when it makes sense, we can make dollars. And this is just what you need. You need a process that makes sense and you can understand. If you cannot understand the process, you should not do it because you're going to be stuck with whatever it is. So I'm going to lay this out. This is the plan me and my wife Aisha used today to build real wealth. This is not something we're talking about that we did 20 years ago. I wish we had been doing it 20 years ago, but it's something that we do right now and it works. Okay. So How to be an active investor building passive income. Let's talk about that. The strategy here is to buy and sell single family properties fast. We don't fix them up. We don't have to deal with tenants. In fact, if you're used to wholesaling and building a buyer's list or any of that stuff, we don't have to do any of that. We don't have to build a buyer's list. We don't have to keep track of investors. None of that, okay? We take the profits that we make buying and selling houses, single family houses, the same thing all the time, and pay us a living salary. It is very easy. It's great for you to hear these deals, and I want to be clear about this. It's great for you to hear these stories with our students and saying, "Hey, they made 70,000, they made 135,000." That's great, but these are lump sums of cash, and they do no good for you if you don't know when you're getting your next check. Imagine if I told you you were going to make $50,000 tomorrow, but then you didn't know when you were going to get the next check. It would be great for a second, but you don't know how to spend that money. You don't know if you're getting a check in a week, in a month, in a year, in 3 years. You have to have a process that consistently can bring you money. Even if it's lump sums, it has to consistently bring you money. Okay. So that's the first thing. We're going to take the profits from houses and then pay us a living wage. Once you make more than you need to live, and you get to decide how much that is. So is that 150,000 a year? Is that 200,000 a year? Is that $300,000 a year? You're going to decide how much that is that you need to live. Once you decide that how much you need to live, you're going to take the rest of the profit that you make beyond that number, and you're going to invest it into large scale commercial projects. Now, you can do that with us or you can do that independently. It is up to you. A lot of people like doing it with us. And one of the benefits of working with us is you will get to see us when we do a commercial deal. Everybody gets to see the process. So you can learn while you're earning. So you can learn while you're working with us. It is not a requirement. This is not me trying to sell you on working with us in commercial. In fact, we don't usually work with anybody unless they're going through learning the process we do for single family, because it's the only thing that throws off enough cash to make sense to work with us, unless they already have a lot of cash. But most people are coming from, they didn't have a lot. They started doing real estate, made money with us in real estate, buying and selling houses on their own. And then they decided they wanted to go into commercial real estate. Okay. Doing this correctly, you get a lot of benefits. First benefit is that you can delay tax payment until you sell the commercial asset. So let me be clear about that. When you buy and sell these houses, you're going to make 75,000, 55,000, 150,000. You're going to make these numbers. And then what happens is you're going to have to pay taxes on that money. And because it's short-term capital gains, meaning it did not take you a year to make that money, you're going to have to pay short-term capital gains, which is a very high tax rate, and it will cost you a lot of money. Or you can do just what I laid out here. This is a very powerful strategy. Pay yourself what you need and pay personal taxes on that. And then the rest of the money, put it in the commercial, and you will defer the taxes. You don't have to pay them right then. You can defer them until you sell the commercial. But here's the best part. You can take the money when you sell the commercial, and instead of paying it to yourself, roll it into another commercial deal, and then keep delaying the taxes and making even more money off the even bigger commercial deal. This is a way to build generational wealth, because if you do this for 5 or 6 or even 10 years, whatever you want, you can keep rolling the asset, the money, the excess money into bigger deals and still make a cash flow for yourself. How would that be to you? How would that allow you to live life if you could know that you could pay yourself the 250, the $300,000, the $500,000 that you want to live every year? And let me be clear, for those of you that don't know, making a really large amount of money every year is cool for the first year. It loses a lot of steam after that first year because you buy the stuff you want to buy and then you just spend money maintaining it. So a lot of times you don't need as much in that second and third year because you bought all the stuff that you bought assets from. Now you're just maintaining those assets and it's a lot cheaper. But you choose that. Every year you decide how much you want to make, not how much your job wants to pay you, how much you want to make, and then take the rest of the money and put it in the commercial, and the commercial can throw money off. Now, here's the beautiful thing about it. You don't have to take the commercial money cash. You can say, I'm making enough from the houses. I want to throw my kids some of the commercial money. So they get an allowance, if you want to call it, every year, every month of this much money I'm throwing off to them. Or I take this much and put it into savings and then reinvest it. or whatever. You have a lot of control and a lot of options with this. Does this make sense to you guys? I try not to go too in depth with financial stuff, but I'm trying to give you this as a very simple strategy. Buying and selling houses, making money from that, taking that money once you got enough for yourself and putting it into commercial, and then the commercial generates cash and it appreciates, which makes you even more money, and it does it without charging you taxes. Is that making sense so far? Okay, let me know in the chat if I've lost you. So essentially, what you have with this is no or low taxes on your profits, and you are building long term cash flow, appreciation, and short term wealth. What else do you need financially? Tell me what else you need. I don't know, because this is everything you could ask for financially. You've got short term money, long term money, no taxes or very low taxes, and you've got appreciation. So your assets are growing in value. That's the game. Our process builds wealth that you pass to your kids. You can pass it to your kids and you don't even have to pay taxes. My goal with this is to never pay taxes on the bulk of my money. I want my kids to receive it and then they can figure it out. And I'll explain to them this same strategy. They can do it until they get old and they can pass it to their kids, but we will have assets that continuously grow. Imagine having assets that grow by generation. So your generation had the first assets, the next generation grows the next assets, and you're growing assets over time. That's what's possible with this. Does that make sense to you guys? So let's talk about this. What resources and tools do you need to do this? Because some of you are on this call and you're quiet because you're thinking this isn't possible for me. I don't have what it takes. I don't have a lot of money. I don't have this, that, and the other. So if that's you, let me know and let me talk to you, because I'm speaking directly to you. Let me look at the camera. I'm speaking directly to you about this. What resources do you need? So let me be clear. This business model generates massive wealth with very low risk. And the reason it's low risk is because we're not holding on to property for really long times. We're not dealing with tenants hoping they pay. It's a very low risk process. The market volatility doesn't matter. How many people are worried about if real estate's going to crash, are prices going to drop, or is everybody going to lose money? You don't need to worry about that. And I'm going to explain that really quickly. If you're buying and selling the house very quickly in a couple of weeks, the market doesn't change in a couple of weeks. It changes over months. It changes over a long period. You're going to be buying and selling. Even if you don't make as much as you expected, you make a little bit less, but you're not going to be affected by the market because you're quickly buying and quickly selling. So it's protecting you against the market. You can do this with no previous knowledge. People that have never bought a piece of property before are able to do this and be successful with it, and it works really well. It does not care. The other thing, you can do this with no current real estate investments. You don't have to already own property. You don't even have to own the house that you live in. You don't have to have anything like that. You don't have to do anything crazy. So, a lot of people will tell you how easy their real estate strategy is, how you can start with nothing and you just got to go out and find investors and all this. You don't have to do any of that. You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to do anything unique or hard. It's not very, none of this is hard. Just follow the process. A lot of people find cold calling people and putting out signs, they find that hard. How do you buy then sell without fixing the house? Great question. The answer is that in your marketing, the way we market to find people that have the houses we want, we are looking for the one thing that we actually care about. Does anybody have any idea what the one thing that guaranteed makes you money in real estate that we care about? It's not how the condition of the house, is not where the house is at. It is equity. The equity in the house, the money that the owner has that is not, in debt. And the thing is, if a house has a lot of equity, we can cut a deal where we get some of that equity. We don't have to get all of it, but we get some of it. I'll give you a quick example. House is worth $100,000. The owner owes 10,000. No, it's not. We don't need to do creative financing, Audrey. You can, but it's completely not necessary. House is worth $100,000. They owe $10,000 on it. That means there's $90,000 worth of equity. We work a deal with that seller to buy that property for, let's say, $60,000. Now, before you say it, well, why would they sell it to you for $60,000? Here's the reason why. Because a lot of people that don't have dilapidated houses, that don't have houses that are falling apart, they need to sell for other reasons than getting the most money. Sometimes they're moving out of state and they don't want to have two houses. Sometimes they're tired of dealing with tenants and they just want to get out of the rental business, which happens a lot. Sometimes they inherited the house from a relative and they live out of state and they don't want to deal with it. They just want to get something from it and move on. Sometimes they bought an investment property to rehab it and then they ran out of money and they didn't finish fixing it up, or they don't have the money to start fixing it up. They don't care about getting the money, they care about getting out of the debt or getting out of the situation. And as long as they have equity, yes, it makes a lot of sense and it works. As long as they have equity, we will talk to them. They will call us. Does that make sense, Michelle? Because Michelle asked the original question. As long as they have equity, they will talk with us. We will go through a process to make them an offer, and then we will buy the house. And then once we buy the house, we will sell that house immediately, not for what it could be worth fixed up or not what it's worth in the future, but what it's worth today. Remember I said it was worth 100,000? So if we bought it for 60 and we turn around and sell it at 100, we make somewhere in the range of about $30,000 on that house. And it wasn't that's after cost. It wasn't, oh, we had to do some magic. It was just a matter of the business is actually not real estate. The business is actually finding the deals and negotiating those deals. If you do those two, everything else falls into play and makes sense. And it's a much easier way to do business. It's not going to stress you out and it does not take a ton of time. I gave you the whole layout in a few seconds, but that's the plan. Michelle, does that make sense to you? Because Michelle asked, and Audrey, I'm glad you got it. So, Michelle, does that make sense to you? You can have a multi-million dollar portfolio and a growing day to day. So, Michelle, how do we find them? We're going to use we use an algorithm. The algorithm, Michelle, you got the questions. We use an algorithm. We're going to use data to tell us not just where to find them, but where people have a lot of equity in houses and where areas where people are actively trying to buy. And then we're going to market to those areas, and we use data to find that. We have a very specific way. We do an algorithm that once we get that information, we market to those people that have what we want, equity. The people that have equity, they raise their hand and call us. We talk to them. Every person that calls us has exactly what we want. We're not wasting calls. Think about when you put out bandit signs or when you cold call people. You don't know if they want to talk to you or not. Every single person that calls us wants to talk to us, has a property with equity, and it's in an area where it makes sense for us to buy, and other people are trying to buy in that same area. That makes your job very easy. All you got to do is process them, if that makes sense. Do you follow me? So you are doing everything. You're letting the system do all the heavy lifting. You don't have to figure out how to do all this stuff. You just have to be the operator of the system. It's like a car. I'm not going to tell. It's like, how do I get to Texas from here? It's you just let the car do the work. You actually follow the process. Okay. Hope that makes sense. It was kind of, I've got to keep moving. If you got other questions, keep asking though. Biggest requirements are some credit. So it helps if you have some credit or some cash or an ability to network. You don't have to have all three. The more you have, the easier it is. But here's the thing. You only need enough to get to the first deal. And I can show you how to get to the first deal, because once you get to the first deal, you will take some of that profit from the first deal and grow from there and then be able to reinvest. So that puts me out. So you don't have the ability to network. You're saying you're not willing to go out and talk to people. You're not willing to go out. That puts you out, Audrey. You're saying you refuse to do that. Okay, so you can network, so you're not out. So I said you have to have some credit or some cash or an ability to network. The other two, I don't say you have to have all three. I said you have to have one. If you have more than one, you are just that much farther along and can move that much faster. Okay? Very straightforward process. Start with houses and grow to commercial with low stress. It doesn't have to be a whole crazy thing. Okay? So what must I do today to start this process? Let's talk about that. First thing is to set a realistic timeline. What we usually do is create a 90-day action plan. You can start doing this and be well on your way to your first deal in 90 days or less. It is not hard. It takes action, and doesn't even take a ridiculous amount of action. It takes a couple of hours of work on an ongoing basis every week. Second, set clear goals to the amount you need to live comfortably. Don't set these goals. When I get on calls with people and they say, oh, I want to make $3 million a month. What are you going to do? Whatever life you're living now, what are you honestly going to do with $3 million a month? Now, let me be clear. I have no problem with you making $3 million a month, but do you actually need that amount on a monthly basis, or are you just setting a ridiculous number? Let's set a realistic number. What do I consider realistic? And I'm not saying this is has to be the answer. If you make $300,000 a year, that is more than like 90% of the US population. 90% of the US population, you're like in the 1% if you make more than $300,000 a year. That's a great goal starting off. Once you've made $300,000 a year, which you can definitely do in that first year, because $300,000 in profit is usually 3 to 5 houses in a year. That's very easy. That's very realistic and doable. But to say you want to make 3 million, you can do 3 million. But do you realize $15,000 a month is a breed? That's less than one house a month. So Audrey, no problem. If you do 300,000, if you do $3 million a year, do you realize the type of business you have to generate? You have to start hiring people. You have, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can do it. You have to start hiring. We did over $2 million last year. We have a staff of 4 people, and we can run our business with those 4 people. But it took that, and it's not, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's just set what works for you in real life for the first year outcome. Third, use the 90-day action plan for step-by-step instructions and take action. That's what it really takes, is to actually take action by setting up a realistic plan and then saying, okay, I'm going to commit to doing this. And not a lot of people just, they don't, I don't know how to say it. They're like not serious. It's like they just set a number that's so off the walls that it doesn't make sense. But a 90-day action plan will get you there. If you have some funds or credit, learn with us and get started building a business. Again, if you don't have funds or credit, your first goal is to get that first deal done. And if you can get that first deal done, you are moving and shaking. But if you don't have money or credit, then you're going to have to get to that first deal. All right. If you don't have enough money or credit to start, we have some other resources for you. We'll show you what it looks like to do this from the standpoint of getting your first deal done. And we can do that very easy. So that's the next thing. Start finding properties with massive equity to get your deals done, your first deal done. Nothing changes if you don't take the first steps. I love these calls and I love talking with people and seeing what you guys are doing. But if I see you on this call 6 months from now and you have not taken a step, then it's like, what are you doing this for? Why are you doing this to yourself? It would hurt me in my heart to sit here and listen to how to build wealth and how to do it and feel like I can do this and then not take any action. You got to take action, and it's going to be scary. It's going to be, I don't know what I'm doing. That's the process. That's what it is. It feels like that for all of us. When I first started, it was very scary. I didn't know what I was doing, but I stayed at it and it made ridiculous money and paid for my entire life. Okay? Building generational wealth is easy with the right plan. That's what it takes, the right plan of action. So let's talk about this. How do we help you reach your goals? First thing is get an investor readiness assessment with us to help you get started to see what that's like. On an assessment call, we will discuss your goals for real estate, what's realistic for you, what you feel is holding you back, and we'll show you how to overcome it because I've heard everything. We will give you a customized 90-day action plan. This is what you can do to start. We will discuss financing options that are available to you specifically for your situation. Everybody can qualify for financing with the right deals. It does not matter credit or income, but the more credit and income you have, the more you can do and keep going. We can discuss what others have done in your situation. What does that look like? Because we have students that have been in all walks of life. Yolanda, I talked about Yolanda in the beginning of this. She did the deal and she made $134,000. Yolanda, when she started with us, she had just lost her job. Do you think she was scared? Do you think she was nervous? Do you think she was like, I don't know if I can do this? She lost her job that paid her, and I hope she doesn't hear me and get mad. She lost a job that paid her around $85,000 a year. She lost a job that paid her around $85,000 a year. She did a deal that paid her $134,000. Yes, she was scared. Yes, she was unsure. Yes, she didn't know what would happen, but she stuck with it and look where she got. You have to take the first steps. We'll show you how to build a plan that fits your budget. We have all kinds of options to help you. Let me show you what these deals look like. And this is just giving you an idea. how we did the following process. We found high profit deals the exact way we show you with the 90-day plan. These are some of the properties. You can see the profit. This is the money we actually put in our bank account from some of these deals. We found leads, then negotiated great deals with these leads. We have a very specific process to do that. We purchased some properties with no upfront cash, so we did not have to pay cash for all of these properties. You can see these are $64,000 profits, $56,000 profits. How many of these do you need to meet your annual goals? We did not fix up these properties. These are how they look when we bought them. You see, they're not in horrible shape. They're not falling apart. This is what they look like when we bought them, and this is what they look like when they sold. Okay. In our first year, we did 870,000 in profit following this process. That was more than we needed to live that year. And that's when we realized to put the money into commercial so we could delay the taxes. These are real deals. This is real life. This is not a joke. This is not something that, only we could do it. It only worked in our town. We have helped people all over the country do this. This one was $112,000 on a profit on a single deal. These are real deals, okay? So I'm just giving you an idea of what's possible. This one you see is not great. The roof is not great, but it's still a great deal. It was easy to sell. So if you want help doing this, want help getting your first high profit real estate deal, you can sign up for our free investor readiness assessment. From there, we will talk to you about our process. I told you people were going to be coming in at the end. We will talk to you about our process. We will help you. I'll put a link in the chat. Set up a call. This is the link. You can set up a call with us and you'll get a few things. You'll get your personalized 90-day plan of how to get started. We'll talk about your goals and what's realistic. We'll talk about how you can do it. Even if your credit is good, that's great. We can help you with that. If your income is strong, that's great. We can help you do this still. If you got some cash, that's even better. But if you don't, that doesn't stop you. Sit with us, get on a call. It's a quick 10 to 15 minute call. We'll talk to you about it and we will show you what a real plan looks like. Okay. This is not hard. This is not something that is out of reach. And in a couple of years, you can easily be at a multi-million-dollar business following this process if you follow the process. Okay. Now, if you want to get a copy of this training, if this was beneficial, let me know what you guys thought of this training, first of all. And if you want to get a copy of this, let me know in the chat. Say, I want a copy, and I will make sure that we send you a copy tomorrow in email. Just let me know in the chat. If this was something that, or you missed some of it and you want to get the rest of it, let me know in the chat. Okay, I see you. I see that. Is it Tijuana? I see you want a copy. That's no problem. I'll get you a copy. Let us know in the chat. I'm glad you liked it, Renata. So if you want to set up a call with us, Michelle, okay, good. You guys want a copy. No problem. I will make sure you guys get one in your email. KC, I'll make sure you get one in your email tomorrow. So check your email. I'll put the link for a call if you think this is for you. How many of you all, let me ask you this, how many of you all are ready to take action? How many of you all are tired of watching free webinars? How many of you all are tired of looking at the challenges that tell you to do something and you end up making calls all week and you don't get anybody to call you back and everybody's telling you to leave it alone? How many of you, okay, good. People are ready. So if you guys are ready, how many of you all have clicked this link to set up a strategy call, an investor readiness call to see about how this looks for you? Did you click the link to set up a call? Or are you still saying I'm ready, but you're still on the, okay, good, Audrey, I'm glad to see it. So you set up a call and talk to us and we'll get you started. This is not impossible. This is very much possible. And when I tell you you can do this traveling, here's the requirements of materials. You need a phone. You need a laptop or a computer. You need an internet connection. If you got all of that, good, Michelle, I'm glad you clicked the link. If you've got all of that, you can get started building this business and you don't have to have a ton of money for investment. If you've got some money, you can just go that much faster. Okay. But I want you guys to take this seriously. I want you guys to get this information and get help. We are here to help you. And here's the thing. You might be saying, well, why would you help us? You just want some money. I want you to get into commercial real estate with us because as a group, we can buy much bigger commercial projects than we can as individuals buying single family houses. We get into commercial real estate. Imagine putting, I'm going to give you a quick example, and this is just an example, but it's very much possible. Imagine doing a real estate deal, making $100,000. You take that $100,000 and you put it into commercial, and that commercial deal over 2 years, five X's your $100,000. So at the end of 2 years, you're walking with $500,000 that you can either reinvest into a larger investment, or you can take it and go spend it to your heart's content. You just got to pay taxes on it. What would that look like for you guys? Do you all have plans of that? Have you all looked at an actual strategy, not a hustle? Have you looked at a strategy that not just gets you from doing this land deal or wholesaling this house? Because that's what it takes. You have to look past, I just want to make some quick hustle money. If you want hustle money, you will make that. You'll make 10,000 or 5,000. You need a whole strategy. You need a real world plan of not only can I get from here, how can I get to 300,000 or better in annual income? And then how can I buy assets or get into assets that will make me life-changing money that I can pass down to my kids? Imagine making 300,000 off of your single family business. So it's going to go to a video. Let me see. This can't be right. Oh, you know what? It is going to. I'm sending you all the wrong link. Hold on a second. Imagine going to, give me a second. Let me pull the right one up. Imagine going to building a business that allowed you to travel and do the things that you actually want to do with travel, but then it allowed you to still run your business. And if whether you've got employees, whether you're doing it yourself, it doesn't matter. You could do all of this stuff. Here's the link. This should get you there. Let me check it before I send it. So thank you for pointing that out. I'm glad you guys pointed it out. Give me 1 second. Thank you for pointing that out. Let's see. I want to give you, I got to figure out which one I'm actually giving you. I'll do this one. Okay. This is the right link. Okay. There we go. So try that link. That'll get you to a call and allow you to set up a call. So what I'm saying is imagine having a business that will allow you to travel, and you can do, I can do this. I'm going to give you an example. We are in the Chicago market right now. I live in the Chicago market, and I live in the Chicago area, and we buy properties in Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. Over the weekend, my wife's Aisha, her aunt died. She didn't die the weekend, but she had a funeral. Her funeral was in Virginia Beach. I spent from Wednesday of last week to yesterday in Virginia Beach with Aisha and two of my kids, and along with her family and everything else. And we were able to still close deals. We were able to still make offers to people. We were able to still run our business, and we actually made money. We made five figures over the weekend while we were out of town. I didn't have to punch a clock. I was able to go to the pool. I was able to go spend time with, her family and everything else. This is what's possible. It's not a dream. It's not something that I'm telling you, you can do it. And I drive around in Ferraris. I don't drive around in Ferraris. I have an old school, but that's because I choose to, and it's my old school. But at the same time, I have the freedom. If I wanted to be a Ferrari guy, I guess I could go buy a Ferrari. I'm not a Ferrari guy, but it's real world stuff. It's real world having the freedom to go travel and do the things you want. And you got to take action. And I know it's like, I don't know if this works for me. Just talk to us, because here's what I'll tell you. When you get on a call with us, we will talk to you about where you actually want to go, what's realistic, what resources you have to get there. And everybody has resources. Everybody has resources. You may not think so, but everybody has resources. And you set up a call, talk to us. And here's the thing. If I'm completely off, if I don't know what I'm talking about, what's the worst that it took? It takes a 10 or 15-minute phone call, and you just say, this isn't for me. But most people that get on the call absolutely love what information we give them, and it makes sense. This is a real world plan. I have gone way over my time. Do you guys have any more questions? Hopefully you got the link to the set up a call, and you can set up your call. Are you guys good with the link now, and you're able to see this calendar and set up a call and everything? And you'll get your 90-day action plan and all that stuff on the call. I know this process works. You will benefit from it greatly, but you got to do what you got to do. So if this makes sense for you, set up a call. If not, no worries. I wish you guys the best, and we'll talk again. I'll see you next week. I'll get you this call. I'm glad you guys got something out of it. I look forward to speaking with you guys on the call. And as always, I wish you the best, and I'll see you soon. Happy hunting. Bye-bye.